What is up, my man?
Welcome back, man. No better place to be working than with you on this pod, baby.
Hey, highlight of my week, bro. Highlight of my week. But
That's all I got. That's all I got while I'm in these four walls of this office, bro.
speaking of weekly highlights, saw some shit last week that was wild up in Adams County, Ohio.
Are you referring to my new spirit animal, Fro, Joseph, Foreman, Afroman, testifying in court with aviators on, letting people know what's up? I mean, I gotta tell you, man, I haven't seen a witness dominate a court proceeding the way Afroman did.
I'm gonna put this out there, dude. As an attorney, I'm coming up on 20 years now. All right. I think you're slightly more than that.
2-1, baby. April.
If I call a witness to the stand, rocking a suit that was that amazing, I would be nervous.
Listen, you got to put it on the pod right here so the listeners could see what we're talking about.
Oh.
My boy showed up looking like Don King in a straight up American flag suit. This was straight up Rocky style, but Afroman.
Yeah. His suit game is strong, dude. And I will tell you what, testimony was strong and clearly some strong lawyering because while, he did a great job. Don't get me wrong. It's not just easy to get up there. I don't care how much prep you got, but someone prepped him very well, gave him the ammo to be his own advocate, and he handled that other attorney.
Oof.
It wasn't even
You're
fair.
frozen.
I mean, we'll
got
play it.
struck by Elsa.
We're gonna put it in there because the end of that, whoo.
Fact, they never should have came to my house in the first place. Fact, if they hadn't have came to my house, they wouldn't have put themselves on the video camera and in my music career. All of this is their fact. All of this is their fault, and they have the audacity to sue me. These people and you are the predators and the victim at the same time.
So what they did, searching your house, gave you the right to do everything you
Under the circumstance that I got freedom of speech, after they run around my house with guns and kick down my door, I got the right to kick a can in my backyard, use my freedom of speech, turn my bad times into a good time. Yes, I do. And I think I'm a sport for doing so, because I don't go to their house, kick down their doors, flip them off on their surveillance cameras, then try to play the victim and sue them.
Like I said, though, if I call a witness, and he called him, calls the opposing party to treat him adverse, knowing that he was wearing that suit, he might have, just, hung it up for the day and been like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. It just feels wrong.
If you're going to be advocating the First Amendment, you better be rocking a straight up American suit the way that Afroman rolled into that courtroom.
I mean, that requires a certain level of confidence. And
I'm calling my suit guy. I'm calling Giacomo, and I'm telling him I may need a red, white, and blue stunner just to walk around.
I think he put the whole world on notice. We all got to step our suit game up with that. It was strong.
I wish I could grow an afro like him, man.
The judge was a little bit snippy. I feel like maybe he was a little bit jealous of that suit. I would be.
I already am. I think he's not doing, I've already made calls, man. I've already made calls.
Well, we got to talk about
Where do you even get that? Like, where do you even find something like that?
I don't know. But I mean, his testimony for 30 minutes? I watched it. Amazing. Not so much, I mean, the way he held up under cross was excellent. But I got to hear about him, the $5,000 the sheriff allegedly seized from him and then, didn't get back $400 or whatever. Where did that money come from? Oh, I forgot that I had it in another suit jacket, which I'm sure was equally as amazing. From when I was...
I'm a little bit upset with Fro about that. And I'll tell you why. Because I didn't know that people looked in suit pockets, man. That's where I hide all my watches when I go on vacation. From now on, I gotta find something else out here, bro. I gotta go to the safety deposit box. I'm gonna have to put them all away because obviously people know to go into suit pockets to go find things. All right, so that's it. Every single one of my watches would have got ganked if I get robbed.
I feel like they just ran out of places to search. But the money was from him doing a Red Rock show with Wiz Khalifa and Snoop. I mean, if I was a judge, I would have stepped in and been like, no, I need to hear more about this concert, this show that you did, where, and I quote, I forgot I had that money in that suit jacket because I got drunk and high afterwards. Probably with Snoop and Wiz Khalifa. I mean, the
100%.
stories this dude possessed have to be amazing in and of itself. I would have
What
made
was it?
sure if I'm raiding this dude's house like they did, I want him there just so we can kick it and hang out. Maybe he can tell me some cool stories.
By the way, man, like honestly, 3 of the most prolific known rappers that smoke pot. I mean, Afroman got famous for a song that said, "Cause I Got Hot." I mean, it was an anthem, a banger back in our time while we were in college. And you know the reality of it is, man, and it's sad to say, I've never smoked pot. I'm not a THC guy, but dude, you know that I was singing that thing at the top of my lungs every time that thing came on at the club.
The song was hilarious.
The best.
Yeah. I mean, again, the lyric quality of it, okay. But the confidence level to put this song out there talking about his shortcomings with the ladies because he got high, like, amazing song. And
Yeah.
again, this attorney should have known when you're calling this dude to stand, you better bring your A game. I was not impressed with this attorney's
Well,
cross-examination.
What are you gonna do? The guy just hijacked it. Hijacked the whole thing.
Well, let's dive into it. Because I don't know if everybody knows about, but in essence, you got 7 sheriff's deputies filing defamation and invasion of privacy. I'm guessing what, false light invasion of privacy, very similar to defamation, against him because they raided his house in 2022 with a warrant, and they found nothing. And the warrant was supposed to seize evidence of drug trafficking and kidnapping, which is a serious thing to put in a warrant. Okay, and not only did they raid the house, they broke the door, like just blasted it, the hinges right off the door frame. Whole door goes flying in. Guns drawn, AR-15s, assault rifles. Like, it's some scary looking stuff. And I think,
Well, his wife and kids are in there. He ain't even there. His wife and kids are in there.
yeah, all on surveillance footage. So what does Afroman do? We'll dive into the other details of it. Afroman writes not one song, but an album of songs with videos, and mixing in his home surveillance footage of these cops doing this, and just shreds them, like their lives, like just everything. I mean, so having said that, I could see how this was emotionally charged for the police officers, especially considering some of the things that he put into these videos. But in the same vein, I could also see how he's emotionally charged because you knocked the door off the frame of his house and accused him of kidnapping and drug trafficking, and you came up with what, $5,000, a little bit of weed, and nothing else.
But it ain't even that, man. The best part is forget about the whole kidnapping stuff. Fine, like that's a very technical criminal term, and the elements are weird. It's not your essential like snatching a kid and running off with them. It's like moving people or holding people in rooms where they cannot move. It's kind of like, confining somebody, right? Those are the elements of kidnapping. But here, under these circumstances, if you read the search warrant, it's from a CI, right?
Well, the affidavit's insane.
The affidavit's awesome. But I mean, look, they're saying that he had a basement dungeon where he would hold women against their will and make them pee and shit in buckets.
Yeah, awful.
But let me ask you some questions, man. Let me ask you about some questions about this police work, all right?
Yeah, hit me with it.
Yeah. By the way, affidavit says he goes by the name Four. So let me ask you this. Does Four's house have a basement, as was alleged in the affidavit?
It's an excellent question. If I was the police officers who were presenting this warrant, which, if you look at the warrant, has a very, very specific description of this house. Color, the size, all of these things. And if someone told me that there was a basement, much like in Pee Wee Herman, his bike being in the Alamo, the basement of the Alamo, I would probably check to see if that house had a basement. And according to his manager, it does not.
No basement.
Unbelievable that you will break down someone's door, assault rifles drawn, and not know that the thing that you were looking for and the place that it was supposed to be doesn't even exist.
Well, let me ask you another question, because they said that this basement was a dungeon. Do you think that the Adams County Sheriff's office, you think that they thought that Fro here was a member of the dungeon family, and they were mistaken, that he actually had a dungeon, but they were just affiliating him with like this other rap clan of sorts?
The police department or the CI?
Well, I would say both, because they both didn't do anything. And here, let me ask you another question. Ian, what's your experience with CIs, with confidential informants? Is that just a job that you could apply for? Is that something that they put out in the classifieds? Or is that something that you get because you put yourself in a shitty situation and now you're trying to get yourself out of that situation?
There is always that component. I would assume if it was a tip, a confidential tip, it would have been worded that way. But when you go to confidential informant / CI, that means more often than not that person may have gotten into some trouble, and their way out of it is to roll over on anyone and everything that they can to build cases that are bigger and better than the cases against them.
Well, what's a bigger and better case than a celebrity, right? Of sorts.
Well, as a police officer, and I'm assuming, I don't know how they do it in Adams County, but typically that's going to involve a prosecutor's input on things. I would assume that they would probably take a look at some red flags for that CI, who, my understanding from the affidavit, at one point worked for Afroman and no longer does. So right there, that might be red flag number one. What are the circumstances of the termination of your employment? Why did you stop working for them? Secondly, they were intimate for many years.
8 times.
Yeah.
8 times, according to her.
What were the circumstances surrounding the end of that intimacy? So if I'm the cops, I'm looking at that saying, wait a minute, what's up with this? Is this to get out of trouble and or revenge tip? And then the next question I'm asking is, you were with this guy, working for him, intimate for what period of time? And you saw this dungeon behavior, and you saw all this god awfulness in a basement that doesn't exist, and A, you didn't take a picture, B, you never reported it to anyone until now, and no one's sitting there thinking, maybe we ought to do a little more digging before we go
not even that, man.
busting down doors.
Anytime that we've dealt with CIs, right, they use the CIs to gain more information,
Exactly.
right? So they'll go do, like, for instance, on a drug bust, they'll send the CI in there to go purchase the drugs. They will pat him down or she down to make sure that there's nothing on their person. They go in there, they give them the money. They go in there to purchase the drugs.
With the
they
marked
come
bills.
out with marked bills, and they come back with the drugs.
Yep.
They always do some legwork to follow up on whatever the information is that the CI is giving the police. Here in these circumstances, they just took this CI's word as gold,
Yep.
and they didn't do any follow-up investigation before getting a search warrant. And what judge signed this search warrant without more information? You know what I mean? Like,
I get if there's a component of imminent danger, okay? I get the concern about that, wanting to act quickly. But you mean to tell me that they're in a basement, okay, which lends itself to the idea of there's limited access except through the house, okay? And the better practice, assuming you had no other option to do any other investigation, by no means am I an expert detective, but assuming you had no other option but to act on it, why wouldn't you surround the property with all these people that you brought there, to make sure no one's getting in or out of the basement, and then knock and announce. As opposed to blast the door off the hinges, guns drawn, scare the shit out of everybody, and check out some lemon pound cake while you're there.
That's right. Which is delicious, by the way.
Mama's pound cake.
Mama's pound cake.
I mean, so we've examined the shortcomings, I think, of the sheriff's department here. Definitely could have been more thorough. Definitely could have saved themselves a whole lot of trouble, as Afroman aptly points out in his cross-examination. And we'll play the clip of that. But let's talk about now the allegations of defamation, okay? And this is where I struggle with the attorney. We'll get to this. But Lemon Pound Cake, I don't remember the sheriff's name, but that's how he's referred to now, part of his claim. And now I'm referred to all the time. People see me, they call me Lemon Pound Cake. First of all, you're welcome. That's an amazing nickname.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I had a cool nickname like that.
Yeah. I don't have any. Nothing even close.
Nope.
Secondly, you're complaining that hundreds of lemon pound cakes were sent to the station as gifts. Again, you're welcome.
Yeah. You know how expensive those things are?
Yeah. And
they're pricey.
Who's mad about free pastry? I'm not.
Nope.
And
no,
then,
I pay money for pastries. Happily.
Yeah. I mean, I could get upset. Maybe I gained a little weight from all this extra lemon pound cake, but you know, that's...
But he was already fat, bro. That's the whole point. He looked at it twice.
As his Afroman's attorney amazingly pointed out in his cross-examination, he asked him, boy, Black, you would agree with me that you and I are not skinny men, which was hilarious. But the biggest problem that he had with it was he referenced the reason he wanted the lemon pound cake in the song is because he had the munchies because he was high. I mean, as we all know, truth is the ultimate defense to a defamation case. So you better pray that you're going to go there that you never actually smoke weed and no one's ever actually seen you smoke weed or use any sort of cannabis THC product. Otherwise, that's going out the window. So, that's his claim. Then you got the gal Lisa, all right, and the song that was written about Lisa. Now, Afroman went in. This song in this video.
I mean, you don't give somebody a nickname licking low Lisa and not go in hard, man.
He was not pulling any punches there.
He was not being nice.
But
look, and he was not being a nice guy about that. I mean, he could have been a little bit more diplomatic on that one.
And again, what prompted this from his standpoint, his defense, so to speak? Well, I don't even know if it's a legal defense, but maybe a jury nullification type defense, is that she turned off his security cameras in his house. And if that's true, and I haven't had a chance to look at her depo to see whether she admitted that, why? Why, if you're a sheriff, would you turn off security cameras in a house that you're raiding? If anything, you should welcome it and say, look, everything that we did there was recorded. Just
of course.
cordial.
Not only that, it gives the appearance of impropriety, dude.
Absolutely. And then money goes missing from the money that you seized.
Of course.
And you
when in a drug bust has anybody ever gotten all their money back, man? Never.
It was
never.
What did he say in training day? It was taxing him. It was taxing him a little bit. I mean, come on. So then,
man, I'm not ripping on cops. Their job is hard as shit, and I understand why they went in there with their guns and their AK-47s like they did, man. Because you don't know what's behind that door. All right, I get it, man. But come on, chill. Take a joke sometime, man.
I wholeheartedly agree. And it's a very difficult job, very dangerous job. And by no means am I belittling police work. You and I both worked with police officers for many years. And there were, some of which were excellent, some of which not so good. And a lot in between. They work very hard.
Ian, number one thing, especially with like CIs. What was our argument every time we had one of them up there? And it's the same thing for cops. You can't have angels to catch devils, man. It's just the way it is.
Oh yeah, 100%. But if we're going to talk about, hey, we had to go in guns drawn, knock the door off the frame and everything else because of safety, wouldn't more investigation have lent itself towards officer safety as well. To know what's going on, what's coming in and out of there. I mean, you know.
Of course, and that's a really good point.
And I think that's, again, goes to the idea of like which came first on this one, the chicken or the egg. Because as Afroman pointed out, we wouldn't be here if they hadn't have screwed up the way that they did. They wouldn't be on my surveillance. I wouldn't have had anything to use in these videos, these music videos, and I wouldn't have anything to write a song about. My money wouldn't have been missing. So I get that. But I think, you know, did he take it pretty far with some of this stuff? I mean, the Deputy Lisa, whew, like we said, that video was rough. And then I think he was talking about the other gentleman who's, I guess, his brother is a pedophile. Then he insinuated, he heard rumors that this guy was buying alcohol for young girls, and that's why he left the Adams County Sheriff's Office and had to go somewhere else. I mean, he went in on his cross-examination testimony on that guy too. And again, I understand his rage and he's upset. People accused him of kidnapping, and it wasn't like, you know, technical kidnapping. This was like you're locking people in dungeons. And what does that do to Afroman's career? And people accused him of drug trafficking. Now, granted, I mean, kind of a selling point maybe for some of those songs. But when you're talking about trafficking, I mean, that's not just personal use. That's like, you know, you're contributing to bad things in society, if you will.
Well, that's the thing too. And just the word trafficking. Look, for pot, it's a lot of fucking pot.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fucking pot.
Like, you ain't fitting that on a plane. The commercial plane.
Yeah, it's a lot of fucking pot for it to be trafficking. That being said, when it's other things like pills, cocaine, it would shock you to know how little that amount is. And it comes with minimum mandatory prison sentences. It's insane. Insane.
Yeah, does not require a lot to kick that up to the level of trafficking. But when you're talking about weed trafficking, especially with the relaxed state of the law in many of these states as it relates to marijuana, you're talking about bales of stuff. Like, you know, you gotta, it's some serious stuff. But
well, based on what this lady, or not, I don't want to say lady, but I would guess it's a lady saying that they've had sex, you know, like 8 times, right? Mm-hmm. And saying that they would go to dispensaries that were outside of the state of Ohio, and bring it back into Ohio.
Yeah.
That shit's serious now. Now we're talking Fed stuff. Yeah. Now we're talking DEA. You know what I mean?
Which begs another good question. Why did you execute this warrant without the assistance of the feds? If you truly believed it was being trafficked across state lines, why jump the gun? Why wouldn't you get the feds involved?
I mean, to be kind, and I'm saying to be kind, this was not good police work.
Yeah, I think the better option here for these good folks would have been to lick their wounds, hope that this quietly goes away without a lawsuit by Afroman, which I'm sure is now forthcoming, by the way, and move on with our lives. Instead, you know, you file suit, you draw more attention to it. I think it's probably, you know, as he stated in his cross-examination, like, the numbers are through the roof since the lawsuit got filed and the trial and everything else. You've now just drawn that much more attention to it.
I forgot about Afroman. I forgot about him. And now, I mean, I'm his biggest fan. I'm rocking some shades during this interview. I'm buying lemon pound cakes because of him. He's the man.
But let's get to the merits of this defamation case, as it relates to the song about Lisa and the insinuation that she was chasing around females and whatever else, and I think she has some kids, and they said the kids were coming home upset because of this video, and the other fella that, you know, I guess has a brother that has some issues and maybe some issues of his own, I don't know. Could you have, if you're the attorney repping these 7 folks, I think there was a chance here for recovery had he pared this down to just the wildly outrageous allegations in the songs, and eliminated some of the extraneous stuff that only added, humor, if not insensitivity to the situation. I think if he would have said, look, they should portrayed me in this light, and that's not who I am, and it's caused this amount of issues with my career and my kids, as it relates to Lisa and the other deputy with the brother who was, allegedly a convicted pedophile. I don't know the details of it. I think had you gone there, and maybe even Lemon Pound Cake, if you could prove that he never smoked weed, maybe. I think at one point, the allegations that they stole his money, without showing which deputy did it, I think you could probably make some defamation stick there. What's the value of it? I don't know. I indicated they were looking for $4 million. But I think had they cleaned some of that up, you might have had a viable case as it relates to those specific things. But when you're complaining that people are sending you lemon pound cakes at the police department, like, come on, that's what you're leading off with? Like, no. I don't even know that I would have kept lemon pound cake as a client. I think I would, simply because of it just made a mockery of the whole situation.
No, but not even that. They were also claiming that he was profiting off of their image and likeness, dude. We're talking NIL all over again, man.
In his home, with his cameras.
Exactly, with his cameras. Like, here's the funny thing. You have an expectation of privacy in another person's home when they have security video. When you came in to their home, uninvited.
Checked it at the door.
I don't think so.
Knocked off the frame. You check those rights at the door, bro.
Yeah, bye. Because guess what? You were also filming too. You had body-worn camera. And you better believe you were going to be using that body-worn camera in court if you found any of the stuff that you thought you were going to find in that warrant. And the one thing that I was certain that they were going to find that was described in that warrant, because it makes the most amount of sense. He's a rapper, and he came out with a song that said, "'Cause I Got Hot." Of course, in that search warrant, it says there's large amounts of cash and cannabis there. Of course there's going to be that in his house, even though they didn't even find any cannabis. They just found, like, grounds.
Yeah, there wasn't much, and a couple of, like, pipes or something that, like, fans had sent to him as a gift. Like, you would have thought at least they were coming away with a good amount of weed, and they didn't have that.
Hey, guess what, Ian? I'm going to get a search warrant for Snoop Dogg's house. Say, hey, there's large amounts of cash and pot in his house. Guess
Olympic memorabilia and weed.
Yeah. And pot. Like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Hey, I will tell you, if you're going to go in and allege kidnapping on a warrant and break down somebody's door, if I'm the cop, just on my own pride, just on my own, this is my livelihood. I want a high success rate. I do not want to be mocked by anyone, irrespective of whether it's Afroman or whatever. Like, why not do a little more research before you go breaking down doors? Like, how much money got spent on this, quasi SWAT team that went in there today? How many people were utilized for this operation to come up pretty much empty-handed?
Mike, and here's a good question. I probably have no idea. I didn't research. I wonder what the crime rates are in Adams County, Ohio. You know what I mean?
Who knows?
They're probably not high. They're probably they probably don't have much better to do. So they're like, dude, we're taking down a celebrity. We're all in on that shit. They were all like, I'm in.
It reminds me of, remember when you get a traffic stop that was FHP, and normally FHP, a lot of their stuff is traffic tickets and accident investigation, things like that.
AAA with guns, baby. AAA with guns.
Yeah, you said it, I didn't. But
I don't care.
Remember the one in one in a dozen occasions where they noticed, like, oh, the guy's got a joint, or oh, there's some cocaine. Everybody was showing up. Like, the whole FHP barracks was rolling out, and like, we're sitting there doing the discovery because you got to list every single officer, and you're like, oh, another one came. Oh, look at this 1 gram of coke. Great. Here we go again.
Best thing. And here we go. The best part is they all show up. But the minute that you send out those subpoenas for trial and they got to show up for trial, Hey man, I didn't do anything. I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
I gotta show up.
Why you
yes,
calling me on
motherfucker,
my day
I
off?
want you there. Show up.
Yeah, why you call me on my day off, bro? I don't want to deal with this. So, tip of the cap, I would say, to Afroman. Excellent job. Congratulations on the win. Adams County Sheriff's Department. Feel bad that you got taken to the woodshed a little bit, but hey, maybe it's a learning experience for everyone that don't compound the screw up by filing a lawsuit that precipitated from said screw up. So.
And don't fuck with my boy Afroman.
Yeah.
Because he will fuck you up.
In an amazing suit. In just straight up gangster fashion. And speaking of gangsters, you know what the fuck time it is, bro.
Oh no. What happened this week, bro?
Gangsters. Let's get to it. Alright? We got the video that I showed you. And let me just give a little backstory. You know, everybody's trying to put out content in the world that we're in, trying to keep it interesting. So what do? We keep it light. For a while, we were doing the joke of the week at my office, where different employees come to my office and tell me a lawyer joke, busting my chops about being a lawyer. And I try to be a good sport about it. I laugh about it. Some of the jokes, not so good. But hey, I don't tell the jokes. I just listen to them, give my input. So, here's the video of the joke.
Okay, you ready for the joke of the week?
Yep.
Okay, how many lawyers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know how many.
3. 1 to climb the ladder, 1 to shake the ladder, and 1 to sue the ladder company.
Ain't right? I know you already took a look at it. And here comes the comment from DoomGal444. How many lawyers does it take to produce successful marketing? And then she answers her own question. More than you've got, with the crying, laughing emoji. Oh, DoomGal, so hilarious. So hilarious.
That was pretty tame, though. That was pretty tame.
You know what wasn't tame?
Your response?
The response from the crew,
Uh-oh.
which points out the irony of, hey, DoomGal, despite our awful marketing, as you've alleged, somehow you watched the video and you're commenting on it. Thank you, DoomGal. You just played into the algorithm, and I don't know how many more people got fed this video because you commented on it. We appreciate the love, as always, from our keyboard gangsters. But hey, interesting week. Who knows what next week's gonna bring? But if it's anything like Afroman, it's gonna be a good week, bro.
Have you watched Neighbors yet? You gotta watch that, bro.
I'm gonna dive into it because you
I
told me
think
about
that's
it.
what needs to be next.
Speaking of amazing attire, I checked the trailer, and apparently the dude is hated by his neighbors because he wears a Speedo all the time.
No. And that guy. Wait till you see the episode that dude did. It's not that. He used to be a Chippendale dancer, bro.
I gotta check this out.
He started. He's like, I don't like dudes. I don't even have any dude friends. Dude comes, shake my hand. I won't even want to shake it. Because I know one thing. They're all trying to bang my bitches.
That's what he said?
Yes, bro.
Oh,
yes.
my
And the
God.
best part is, and we'll get to it, man. You gotta watch it. The best part is they're in court because they're like complaining about that one. He's stalking the other, and then he says in court, you know, something that I'm not gay. He goes, you're under oath. You can't be lying.
What? I just saw the part where he said,
dude,
they
the other
hate
guy,
me because of like 8 inches. And I was like, what are you talking about, 8 inches? And he points to the length of how much longer his attire needed to be to cover up his legs.
You gotta watch this, man. The guy who he's fighting with, dude, I swear to God, is like if Louis Guzman was about like 75, 80 years old, man. It's hilarious, dude. You gotta watch it.
Oh my God, I can't wait to check this out. Well, next time we'll dive into neighbors, and maybe we even have some good neighbor stories of our own. Who knows? Always a pleasure, my man.
Oh, we do. And let me tell you something. My parents, They're the bad neighbor.
Oh,
I'll tell you all about it later.
All right, brother. Be safe out there. Tell Afroman I said what's up.
My boy, bro. I love that guy. Spirit animal. Wearing these glasses all day long.
Talk
In
to you
court,
next time,
outside
bro.
of court, inside. Later, dude.
Later.